Winless on the road in these playoffs, the only team still alive that hasn't won a single game away from home. They're in Dallas tonight, and that's where we go right now to bring in John Liu. John, if things weren't already bad enough for the Jets, who are down 2-1 in the series, now the Stars get a huge boost on their blue line.
Yeah, Gino, it's 1 Central. The Stars posted on X that Miro Heiskanen has been removed from LTIR, so one of the last hurdles left. Pre-game warm-up will be the final telling sign, but he took part in the optional morning skate here at American Airlines Center this morning, and afterwards head coach Pete DeBoer said that he anticipated that Heiskanen will play, but all signs are pointing to him making his return, playing for the first time since January 28th. So he's missed 3.5 months of action, but the Winnipeg Jets fully expect to have to play Heiskanen the way they normally would. Aggressive but smart on the forecheck, make sure they get a piece of him, make him stop and start. Don't let him get past him, because once he's gone, he feeds that rush, and that has been something that the Dallas Stars have been very good at all season. And with the lineup decision of possibly or potentially going with 11 forwards and 7D to allow Heiskanen to ease back into a groove, shelter him a little bit at 5-on-5, but allow him to be a specialist on the first power play unit. 11 forwards, Gino, means that it makes it that much easier for Pete DeBoer to double shift Mikko Rantanen like he's had for a significant portion of this series to great success.
Yeah, John, help me to understand this. The Jets had the third best road record in the entire league in the regular season. Now they've got the worst road record in these playoffs. I understand the Hellebuyck issue. Hellebuck's giving up an average of almost 5 goals a game more on the road than at home. So here's the question. What can the Jets do in front of him to give Hellebuyck a better chance of turning this around?
Well, Gino, they have been taking great steps to ensure that Connor Hellebuyck is seeing the puck more clearly, that he hasn't been subjected to as many screens and tips like he was in the opening round against St. Louis. I mean, Scott Arniel said that, typically the Blues were getting 2 guys on top of Hellebuyck, like taking his eyes away, and that was a recipe for success in that first round that the Jets were able to narrowly escape. Against Dallas in these first 3 games, that hasn't been as much of a case. Like the Stars are still trying to establish net front presence, but they do it in a little bit different way in the way that Scott Arniel was describing it, simply because they have more top-end skill throughout their forward lineup, like a devastating top 9. And so, they plant one forward up high or in the home plate area, but they can move the puck around the perimeter because of their skill and their blue liners who are mobile and offensive, and even more so now they get Miro Heiskanen back. So the Jets are defending a little bit better in their own zone in terms of giving Connor Hellebuyck more chances, but the fact of the matter is that Connor Hellebuyck still needs to rise to the occasion and bring his Vezina game, especially in a match like this that's going to be so pivotal. The Jets absolutely cannot afford to drop this one, because they're going to be forced to win at least one more in Dallas to come back and get back, and as it stands now, to come back and tie the series and with a chance to win it.
I want to follow up on that. What about Hellebuyck himself, John? Is this about changing something about the way he plays on the road, or is this more about shifting the way he thinks about road games?
Well, when we talked to Connor Hellebuyck at the start of this series, he said that even in those games in St. Louis where he was getting shelled, he felt good about his games in terms of the way that he was playing, and that he chalked up some of those crooked numbers to bad bounces or coverage breakdowns. And so, he's trying to stay as positive as possible, feeling about as good about his game as he can. So in terms of his preparation, in terms of his breakdown following games, like post-game assessments, he isn't changing his game. He isn't changing his tactics. But the fact of the matter is, Gino, is that as conspicuous as his numbers have been on the road, the fact of the matter is that in this series, he has turned things around. Yes, the Jets are in a 2-1 deficit, but Hellebuyck is playing much better in this series compared to the opening round. And I use goals saved above expected by Money Puck as a very good measure of that. In the opening round, he was minus 10.1 against the Blues, and now he's marginally better, minus 9.6. That means that he's 0.5 plus in goal save above expected. In his shutout, he was +2. In Game 3, he was minus 1.76, but that had to do with the third period that went pear-shaped on the Jets after that video review went against them. So the fact of the matter is that Hellebuyck, through this series so far, is stopping the pucks that he's supposed to. He didn't have a bad period or a bad game until the final frame of Game 3. So Hellebuyck is better in this series, and he just needs to be as consistent as he has been through the opening 3 games of this series and bring it a little bit more, kick it up a little bit notch so that GSVA is up, closer to the dominating figure that he posted during the regular season, where he ran away with it, that category in league stats amongst his fellow goalies.
But Johnny, things are so close. So much can swing on a single play. If the Stars' go-ahead goal gets reviewed and goes the other way, we might not be having this road versus home conversation at all right now. Could that make for a rallying point for this team right now, John?
Sorry, can you just repeat that last part, Gino?
Is it a rallying point for the team that they can feel right now that it's the world against them, that the league is conspiring against them, that if that call goes the other way, we're not having this conversation at all?
Well, if they feel like the league's against them, they're not saying that. They had to turn the page very quickly. That's something that they had to park. It's no point crying over spilled milk. It went against them. They didn't respond well, as Dallas did, scoring 49 seconds after the video review went against the Jets. What the Jets are rallying around, if it were the case, is that they played more of their game. They were more to their identity and their structure in the opening 40 minutes of Game 3, where they came out of that frame tied at 2-2 and fought back from a pair of 1-goal deficits. So that's something that they were talking about following Game 3 that they could build upon, even though it was a dispiriting loss in light of how things went in the third period. So, that is the rallying point, Gino, is that they are still in this series. Like, by no means is this over. It's crucial, it's pivotal that they even it up in hostile territory so that they can go home in a best of 3 with home ice advantage, which is the situation that they came out of after getting shelled twice in St. Louis in the opening round in games 3 and 4. So they absolutely do not want to put themselves in the same situation. Like that they want to get back to even and give themselves their best chance possible at coming back and winning this series.
One of the key factors in that series versus this series, they weren't facing Mikko Rantanen. Rantanen helped set up Petrovic's game winner on Sunday. He's now had a hand in the last 5 straight game winners for the Stars in these playoffs. We've all seen you can't stop him. So what's the plan to try to at least slow him down, John?
Yeah, the plan hasn't changed, It's like, they talked about it from the start of the series, especially after Rantanen posted that Hattie on him in the opening series, that they have to get position on him. They have to tie up his stick, box him out, that they can't allow him to hold on to the puck. And the thing is that when you look at the goal that he scored in Game 3, that was high-end skill, but that was a rush chance. And if we go back to our earlier talking point, that's why the Jets feel that is one of their greatest areas of improvement, that they have to make job one, is that they can't get into a situation where they're trading rush chances with the Stars simply because their opposition is so good at it, and Rantanen is one of the flag bearers in that category. So again, the task is going to get extremely hard with Miro Heiskanen coming back, even playing limited minutes. He just fuels their attack so effectively, and that's something that we're going to have to watch for tonight, Gino, is that will the Jets be able to counter, and will they be able to contain Miro Heiskanen, who's going to be fresh, a little rusty, but he's certainly going to be fresh because he's missed the equivalent of half a season, Gino.
Something else the Jets could really help their cause right now, getting more production out of their power play. It's dead last among the final 8. They had the best power play in the entire league in the regular season.